right, let's add another element to this. Okay, let's put up the party base. I'll put it up and then we'll talk about it. All right, so I did it in blue here. This area of the electorate, typically we might consider to be the Democratic base. Now, the base is going to be an area of the electorate that typically we can predict will vote for the Democratic Party's candidate. There's a little more to it than that. Like the base is the primary area where we find party activists. You will note that the base is not the entire spectrum here. So it tends to be solidly liberal, but it doesn't extend to the end of the spectrum. It's kind of boom, right in that solid liberal spot here for the Democratic base. Now, like we said, the base is filled with party activists. Now, party activists are those people that would actually self-identify as Democrats, but they go beyond that. They go beyond just voting for Democrats on this side of the spectrum here. These are the party faithful. These are the people that actually carry out the Democratic Party's electioneering efforts. So they help the Democratic Party choose the color red. They help them play politics and win elections. And so what is the party base providing that helps the Democratic Party win elections? Primarily, that's going to be, where's my green market? I need my green market for this. That's going to be money. Okay, this is where you get your donations from. It's also where you get your ideas, okay, your solutions, okay, you get your platform, which is a collection of the party solutions to the problems facing our nation. It is also primarily where your candidates are going to come from. Okay, so you'll note that these things right here, always the party base is more liberal than most of the electorate as a whole. Now we have a base on this side as well, on the right side. I'll put it up here. So the Republican base is also a segment of the electorate. The segment here is solidly conservative, all right? It's filled with party activists. It is where your Republican candidates primarily get their money, okay? And these people right here are the ones that help the Republicans in their electioneering efforts, their efforts to try to win the election. So they're giving money, they're donating their time, they're the ones that are making phone calls, they're the ones that are coming to your house and putting out lawn signs. Okay, that is the party base. It is also, as the same over here, it's where the Republican Party gets their ideas, their solutions, their positions on issues, and their candidates tend to come from this end of the spectrum as well. All right, so this is the basic information here, and let's make this AP. I'm going to have to add some stuff to the board here, so bear with me. All right, so we have some AP terminology here that you need to learn. So let's start off with party and government. You can see that I've attached that to the Republican umbrella. There would also be a party and government over here attached to the Democratic umbrella. Okay, these are the members of Republicans that have actually been elected to serve in government. Or you can think of them as the party elite at the national level. They are the controllers of the Republican Party. Okay? And then down here, we have the party and the electorate. Okay, now a little bit broader than the base. So we've already talked about party activists. Those are the party faithful, the ones that give money, that give time, that give the ideas, that possibly might become candidates themselves. The party and the electorate is those people that would generally just identify with the Republican Party and typically vote Republican Party. So yes, you have a party and electorate over here also, right? Those people that generally identify with the Democratic Party and would vote for the Democratic Party. They might have a lawn sign in an occasional election, but they're not going to be a party activist, okay? So keep them separate from party activists. Now you do see some connections to Unit 1 here when we talked about theories of democracy. So if I asked you, okay, where in this diagram do you see a reflection of the elite theory of democracy? You might point to the party and government up here. I say, where in this diagram here do you see a reflection of the participatory theory of democracy? Well, you might point to the party activists, okay? Again, with the elite theory of democracy, you might just point to the party and the electorate and that all they do is really vote, right? Okay? Now, the pluralist theory of democracy is represented by the fact that there's our political parties that people align with and become members of, and they amplify their voice by joining a political party. So all three theories of democracy are kind of always at work, and it's just which theory is allowing for you to be a part of the system best, okay? So another aspect that I added to the diagram here, if you can't quite recognize, is you will note that I made a chain, okay? Because we have to recognize that political parties operate as linkage institutions. And a linkage institution is any institution in a society that connects the people to government. And political parties function as linkage institution. They give the people a voice in government in some manner and way to control government. Thus, again, linkage institutions in this respect, via the vehicle of political parties, help support the pluralist theory of democracy. At least in our country, we would argue that, you know what? We might very well best operate as a pluralist theory because if people really want to control government, they better join a political party. The other thing that I want to point out here is that the party base itself is when we think about a linkage institution, it's linking and chaining the political party to an ideology. Whereas the party's going to move. The party's willing to move to win the election, right? Winning first, ideology second. The base is not as willing to move. The base is solidly conservative for your Republicans, solidly liberal for your Democrats. And if the bubble were to shift to the left and the Republican Party elite, the party in government, wants to continue to win elections and serve in government, they're going to try to move to the left. But if they want their campaigns funded, they can't really forget about the base. The base links them to ideology, chains them to that position as best they can, okay? All right, so linkage institutions, just remember that. The other linkage institutions that we'll talk about throughout the course are going to be interest groups. Elections themselves are a linkage institution, and the media, all right?